Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Brakatha Yahweh, Brakatha Yahweh Shai, Kahalo Yamla, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Kodash. First and foremost, I'd like to continue to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rechak Kodash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to all the Akim out there teaching and preaching this truth with 144% sincerity, to the men, women, and children listening, learning, and to the Bayashut, Dabadat, the house of David, Maya Shatad, men of valid Las Vegas camp, coming to you through the will and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians, as well as you speckled birds whose father's line goes back, you're the true children of Israel that the Bible speaks of. Salvation belongeth unto you, and you alone. No other nation has the opportunity. No other nation has the faith. No other nation has the capability, all right, to be saved in Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, because you were ultimately predestinated. Lord willing, we be of that number, the 144,000 elect men, the men who are out there teaching and preaching, and who have made their bodies a living sacrifice. One still on the highways and byways, or brothers who have already passed. All right? Adawana Ratazai, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai continues to allow us and give us the Holy Spirit and take the Spirit not from us. Speaking of myself first and foremost. All right? But hey, without further ado, without spiritually ranting, right? We're going to start here in the book of Revelation. It's going to be Revelation chapter 12 in verse 12, and it reads, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to them, woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." All right, and this devil is amping up. Salakia. This devil is amping up. He is changing all his laws, all right, the decrees that are being set forth. He's putting his vanilla ice into play, all right? You see what he's doing across the scale and across America, all right? And this devil ultimately setting up around the world, okay? Knowing and understanding these scriptures through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, giving you the ears to hear and the eyes to see that the times and the perilous times that we are coming into. All right, as Apostle Tahar has said earlier this year, we are in Jacob's trouble. It just hasn't reached the full swing and its full heights. But each and every day, it becomes more clear, more apparent that this devil is getting tired. All right, he's getting tired of having to fake the funk. He's getting tired of telling his lies because they keep on breaking, they keep on falling. As soon as he tells a lie, as soon as it gets debunked. All right, and that's all through the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, breaking it down systematically. All right, it was the prophets, Apostle Tahar, and the men before him, but Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Rama, Apostle Rakal, the elders and the bishops, all the way to the newest brother, continuing in the work, in the doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, our apostles and elders, breaking it down, making it plain upon tables, that you may hear the word and the ministry of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. So this devil is going to come down with great wrath. He knows that his time is running out. He knows he cannot contain damage control anymore. Okay? So this devil is doing everything in his power. All right? And we know it won't happen until Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai says it will happen. All right? Until he ordains that very thing to happen. All right? Him coming down as that flood. All right? Let's go here to the book of Wisdom of Solomon. In the Apocrypha. All right? Wisdom of Solomon. It's going to be chapter 5 and verse 1. And it reads, "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. They make no account of the labor of the men of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, or the nation of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, who has continued in the way and who has truly lived to the best of their ability in their captivity, and still adding on to this hellhole, this society. All right, giving this society its glory in ways. All right, you see, this land was built off the back of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, and Seminole Indian. It was built by the blood, the sweat, and the tears of the Israelites, Yahweh Hashem Yahushai's chosen people. And you took no account for the labor. You just received the free labor. All right? But this was to be our judgment. This was to be our punishment, is to have another nation rule over us. Okay? This is why Yahweh Hashem Yahushai has done that. It's going to be here in the book of Jeremiah. It's going to be chapter 5 and verse 22, and it reads, "Fear ye not me, saith Yahweh? Will ye not tremble at my presence, which have placed the sand of the bounds of the sea by a perpetual decree?" So us taking no heed, us taking no warning, all right, and taking it seriously from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, led us to this, put us in this case, put us in this point. Okay? That it cannot pass it, and though the waves thereof toss themselves, yet can they not prevail. Though they roar, yet can they not pass over it. Who are we without Yahweh Hashem Yahushai? What do we have without Yahweh Hashem Yahushai? We have nothing. Okay? Let's get this here. It's going to be in the book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 17. And it reads, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers, and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High Yahweh ruleth in the kingdom of men, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and setteth up over it the bases of men." So these other nations, especially Esau, Edom, was allowed to have their foot on our neck at this time, still to this very day. But Yahweh Hashem Yahushai is breaking this place down systematically. He is turning this thing around. He has given us our walking papers, in essence. Because we are now understanding that we are nothing. We are now understanding that we need everything from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. If you come to think about it, there's not another nation on this planet, another nation ever made, that needs Yahweh Hashem Yahushai as the Israelites need Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We are a nation that needs Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. We are connected and joined. We could not escape. As Yahweh Hashem Yahushai says about the time Esau's reign, not one jot, not one tittle, not one moment more, not one Israelite, no matter the wickedness that he has done on this side, will fall out the hands of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Because we are a nation that needs Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. every single one of us. We need our power. This is here. It's going to be here in the book of Isaiah, chapter 12. Isaiah chapter 12 and verse 6, and it reads, Cry out and shout, thou inhabitant of Zion, for great is the Holy One of Israel in the midst of thee. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is great in the midst of us. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai essentially has been rooting for his elect. He has been protecting and guiding and helping. He has preserved the truth so that the nation can come back through his word, through the sacrifice the men he has set up after his only begotten son, Yahushai. That 2/3 of the nation of Israel will be born back through the loins of the elect of the nation of Israel. He loved his nation so much, he made a way. He made a way to bring back his nation and had mercy on the elect. Lord willing, be of that number. Lord willing, I be of that number. The elect of the nation of Israel right now receive all the mercy and the grace of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, as well as the chastisement. But we pray and rehearse and practice the righteous acts to escape the fury and the anger of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. We want to continue in the good graces. Let me read from verse 5 through 6 again. This is going to be here, and I just read verse 6, but Isaiah chapter 12 and verse 5, and it reads, Sing unto Yahweh, for he hath done excellent things. This is known to all the earth. Cry out and shout, thou inhabitants of Zion. All these other nations know these scriptures are a living, breathing book. The testimony of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is real. The testimony of Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai lives and breathes. All these other nations around the world know about Israelites, know the story of the flood, know the story how the Israelites were taken from their homeland, how Israel was scattered. They have the records, they have the documents, they have the books. They have the folk tales. They have the knowledge of historical events passed down, because a portion for a time period to help the devil was their glory. But now it's revealing to be their shame. These nations know what's coming. And it is the wrath of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. They understand now, as we understand now. Not everybody to its entirety, but those who know. As Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is putting matter of fact, let me go ahead and get it. All right. This is the book of Acts, chapter 2 and verse 17, and it reads, and it shall come to pass in the last days, saith Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions, and your old men shall dream dreams. All these other nations know and understand that judgment is coming, that this age is at an end. All right? They are in the know of their judgment because the prophets have been out on the highways and byways, have been putting up epistles, and Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has opened up their spirit. Also, roughly paraphrasing scripture, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said, I was just but a little displeased with the heathen. All right? But since they helped Esau Edom for the affliction of the nation of Israel, they have to go through it too. Jacob's trouble will affect the whole world, as you see now. But how much more in the latter end? How much more to the destruction and the downfall of this queendom, Babylon the Great, aka Sodom and Gomorrah, aka Rome 2.0, here on the shores of America? How much more? We're going to go here. All right. As a matter of fact, Salakia. All right. Over here. Just want to go in the blue letter right quick. All right. And we're in the blue letter on Isaiah 12 and 6. And I wanted to pull up the word Zion. All right.
Strong's H 6726. Sion. Sion.
Sion. Sion. Zion. Preach place. Another name for Jerusalem, especially in the prophetic books. All right. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said it's a preach place. It's like, let me go back. The perch place, Salakia. Said to preach. Right? So let's go to the root word. Right, root word is sign, post, monument, marker. All right? So the nation of Israel was always meant to be a monument, a marker. All right, Yasharallah, he prince of the power. Zion, a marker. Okay, a monument. All right, a signpost. All right, a signpost of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's love, his mercy, his grace, his perfection. That's why Yahweh Bashem Yahushai says in the book of Deuteronomy, or in the Salakia, in the book of Genesis, all those who bless Israel will be blessed. Okay, to follow after the way of perfection, to follow after the way of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. It is only you, Israel, who has the opportunity to do it all the way, because it was given unto you, because he made you a monument. All right? A signpost. All right? Jumping over to Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 17, and it reads, And the land of Judah shall be a terror upon Egypt. Every one that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of Yahweh of hosts, which he hath determined against it. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to rise up his nation. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to turn that fury, all right, to the 2/3, because judgment shall start in his house first. He's going to turn it all the way up on the 2/3. But on these other nations, and the devil who's coming down with great wrath, speaking ill about Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's way, speaking ill about Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's people. The ones that are denying and denouncing and casting and turning his people away from him, who believe that they are allowed to give license to sin. Esau, Edom, aka Rome 2.0, aka Sodom and Gomorrah, aka Egypt, here on the shores of America, will absolutely be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. Thus saith the Bible. And thus saith the doomsday prophets that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has put back on the scene to prophesy the downfall of this kingdom. All right? This hegemony, this empire, all right, is going to fall by no other than the hands of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But as this devil comes down with great wrath, he's going to be met with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's force opposition. All right, before the Alahayim show up in Yahushai to come and take over. He is going to raise the standard of the nation of Israel. And this devil knows that. That's why he has it for you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Seminole Indians. It's not a coincidence that every law that's being set in place is a law that affects your so-called communities, affects your unity, affects your families, affects your health, affects your wealth. It is all by design. It is all for prophecy's sake that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai has allowed this devil to be set up as he will allow him to be brought down. But by no other but Yahushai. Okay? Salakia. And it reads, I'm going to go ahead here in verse 18, and it says, In the day shall 5 cities in the land of Egypt speak the language of Canaan and swear to Yahweh of hosts. One shall be called the city of destruction. Right? And here it is. Where are we? We are at the height of Esau's kingdom, speaking their language. All right? And matter of fact, let me get that for clarification. AKA Sodom and Gomorrah, AKA Egypt, AKA Rome 2.0. That's where that saying comes from. We were all slaves on a different plantation. It wasn't just from the Emancipation Proclamation. It's spiritual. You have been under the same devil before. This devil, all these nations have had a foot on the Israelites' neck. All right, let me get this. All right, for edification. And it says, the Canaanites spoke a group of closely related northwest Semitic languages known as Canaanite languages, which include Phoenician, Hebrew, Moabite, Ammonite, and Edomite. These languages were spoken in the Levant region, modern-day Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, Jordan, and Syria during the 2nd and 1st millennia BCE. Now, that's enough said. Look at the officials who have been set up and propped up in the Western government. Are you not speaking their language? Look into their law. All right? The very law of this nation is set up after their language. Okay? Let's get the Egyptian language. All right, this one says, ancient Egypt is a dormant branch of the Afro-Asiatic language family, serving as one of the longest attested languages in human history, with records spanning over 5,000 years. See 3200 BCE to 11th century CE. It was primarily written in hieroglyphs, uh, hier- hieroglyph, the Democket, Slovakia, and even even till Coptic, which use the Greek alphabet. All right, hey, so Latin, Greek, all right, those languages, all right, hey, are all languages of of Rome here. Okay, you can find all this here. We're speaking their language. And this is a clear marker that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, not only reincarnates people, but reincarnates systems. All right? That's why it's Rome 2.0. All right? That's why it's Egypt, Sodom, and Gomorrah spiritually. Because the same thing is done. The same thing is here. As Yahweh Bashem Yahushai says, there is nothing new under the sun. All right? The book of Ecclesiastes, all right, chapter 3 and 15, right? In Ephesians, Ecclesiastes 1 and 9, all right? There's nothing new under the sun. Both state roughly the same thing, okay? All right, we'll go ahead and get this last script and we'll close out. This will be here in the book of Isaiah, chapter 59, in verse 19, and it reads, "So shall they fear the name of Yahweh from west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood, the spirit of Yahweh shall lift up a standard against him." All right? So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to lift up a standard against this devil. All right? Chiefly, first and foremost, his own house, 2/3 of the nation of Israel, but chiefly Esau, Edom. All right? These other nations around about, committing abominable acts and atrocities unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai's name, his image, his people, his land. All right? The world will have to pay its tab. The world will have to pay its tab with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right? This queendom will not be able to pay up. Esau, Edom will never be able to pay the tab. After 1,000 years of hardcore, rigorous bondage, you will still not pay the tab. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai is going to cancel you like a tab is canceled, to be forgotten about, and to be no more in remembrance. Lord willing, this was an edifying, uplifting lesson. I want to give all honor and glory and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, to all the Akim out there teaching and preaching this truth with 144% sincerity, to the men, women, and children listening, learning, and to the Bayis Shadabadah, the house of David. To the next time, I'm Ayah Shatad, said, Shalom, Kwame Asharala, Wa Ba Shalom.